Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Matthew Peterson. Happy to have you with me here. We are filming today's video during our live show every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Tune in next week if you have not already. Guaranteed a good time or your money back on this free channel. Now, the first news and rumor story I want to hit on here is blasphemy. It is about whether or not Kevin Stefanski could bench Deshaun Watson and start Jacoby Brissett. It's fake news. If you live on Browns Twitter, you know what I'm talking about right now. It is an outlandish idea that started last week after the win in Houston. We got this from Albert Breer. Asked if he's committed to Deshaun Watson on his starter, Browns coach Kevin Stefanski, yes. Now, after that, I was thinking, all right, let's start a witch hunt. Who asked Kevin Stefanski whether or not he might go back to Jacoby Brissett after one underwhelming performance from Deshaun Watson? I had some ideas. You probably know who the number one candidate was, and he outed himself. Tony Grossi tweeting out after Kevin Stefanski said, "We understand the magnitude of the game. I asked if he would do whatever it takes, including benching Deshaun Watson if needed to win in Cincinnati. No, we're going down there to win the football game. That's our focus. Deshaun's our quarterback." I mean, this right here, if we can just spend a minute right now on this screen, is outlandish for a handful of reasons. One, to play devil's advocate for a moment, I see where Grossi's going of this is must-win territory, and you don't have time for a rusty Deshaun Watson to have a slow week if you think you can get 230 yards and a touchdown out of Jacoby Brissett. The issue is you might get 230 yards out of Jacoby Brissett, but you got $230 million in Deshaun Watson. You better believe the Haslams want to see Deshaun Watson take every snap possible. I bet Jimmy nearly had a heart attack when Brissett went in last week for the fake QB sneak and the end-around handoff going, what are we doing? So no, Deshaun Watson is not being benched for a week because the Browns are in win-out territory and they don't have time for him to get his legs back. Not going to happen. It's just not. In fact, we need to stop spending time, myself included, on this outlandish and ridiculous idea. Having said all that, who was your favorite Browns reporter or coverage spot? And I'm not trying to say play favorites or anything. I think it's always interesting to see, who people go to the most or who they think has the best content and all that good stuff. So chime in, let me know. If you don't pick me, I'll cry myself to sleep just a little bit, but not for many nights. All right, moving on here. Next story. Sunday. Is it a must-win game? You betcha. 4 Bernie heads here. The Browns have to win. There is no other way around it. We have been down this road before, kind of like the Dolphins and the Bills, where it was like, they've got to win. This is, they have to win, or they are really, really done this time here, okay? New York Times has a great NFL playoff calculator, and I ran some simulations on it, and let me share with you what I found. If the Browns win on Sunday, their probability of making the playoffs is only 9% still. It's not going to skyrocket. If they lose, it's down to 1%. Now, let's say they win against the Bengals, and then they win against the Ravens. Well, then it's 20%. But if they beat the Bengals and lose to the Ravens, then it's 9%. If they win the first 2 games, but lose to the Saints, it's down to 3%. If they win out the next 3, well, up to 26. Commanders, 47. Even if they win out, it's only 87%. And if they win the first 4 games, but lose to Pittsburgh, it's only 13%. So it is absolutely win-out territory, and then you're going to need some help. Because at 10-7, you're not going to have many tiebreakers for the wild card. So you'll need some, inter-division cannibalism amongst the Ravens and the Bengals and win some tiebreakers over them. Now, before we even get further into today's show, we are going to have a preview for this upcoming game, which I think is the biggest game of the entire season thus far. So make sure to tune in for it. If you're watching our live show right now, and it'll be in like 20 or so minutes, or if you're watching this later on, tune in tomorrow when we drop this preview. We'll have the latest injury report along with keys to victory for Cleveland. Now, I want to tell you all about today's sponsor, Fetch. Use the Fetch app on iPhone or Android to scan your receipts to earn points and turn those points into gift cards. Whether you're shopping at Target, Walmart, grocery shopping, or even your local mom and pop store, you can earn reward points by scanning your receipts with Fetch. You can also connect your Amazon account and use your email to earn points on all your e-receipts. Use my link to download, chatsports.com/fetch. It's completely free, and enter promo code CHAT at signup for 5,000 points when you scan your first receipt. That's the equivalent of a free $5 gift card just to get started. As you accumulate more points, you can click on Redeem in the Fetch app and choose from hundreds of stores and restaurants like Amazon, CVS, or even Starbucks to turn those points into gift cards. You see how easy it is to use, and it's completely free. The 5,000 bonus points, though, is only for a limited time, so get started right now. Chatsports.com/fetch and enter promo code CHAT. The link is also in the comments and the description of today's show. Moving on, next segment I want to get to here. Deshaun Watson, is he going to bounce back right after a sluggish debut and slow start to the 2022 season? I'm going to give it 3 Bernie heads. I'm not going to go 4 because I don't think it's, being very honest with you if I say it is without a doubt he bounces back. But I am more than confident that after one game, which was a very emotional game, he admitted, returning to Houston, a lot going on, he's going to bounce back and look a lot more like the, NFL leading passer he was back in 2020. But week 13 wasn't good. Let's be honest. Completion percentage at 54. He missed a lot of throws. A lot of throws he was just off on accuracy into the dirt. 131 yards, a bad red zone interception right to Petrie in the middle of the red zone, and no touchdown. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say, you know what, it actually wasn't that bad. No, it was bad. It was bad. But at least Deshaun Watson owned up and recognized that too. Was not in the excuse-making business here. Deshaun Watson said his fundamentals were something he noticed he could work on last week, getting his base right and just making sure his mechanics are sound. Even when you play the one-win Houston Texans, it's a good reminder of this is still the NFL. They are still a roster of 53 professional athletes. So if you are just a little bit off, you're going to get exploited, okay? That's why I always can't even begin to describe the hatred I have for the every year, could Alabama beat this team? No, they lose by 100 because there's 53 professionals on one team and maybe 15 or 20 on the other. So I am not concerned. He's got to get his feet back, and it looks like he knows it's little tweaks and changes he has to make. Now, Watson also added this when he spoke to the media on Thursday, saying, last week was a lot. Anticipation, former team, former teammates. I'm human, so I definitely had things running through my head. My mind. Glad that's out of the way and glad we got the win. Very glad that the Browns defense, for the first time this year, stepped up to the plate and go, all right, offense is not getting it done. Our turn to win the game. Now Deshaun Watson at games behind, getting ready for Cincinnati. And now the spotlight and the, Deshaun Watson's returning, the media headlines, all the attention, kind of being, swept away a little bit. It's just another game in Cincinnati, Ohio in December. So it's not going to generate as much buzz and as much eyeballs to what is Deshaun Watson doing on every single snap. All right, predict Watson's stat line for me this week. Just give it a rough estimate. You don't have to go all the way into the nitty-gritties, but if you want to, you can as well. If you think he's going to throw 3 touchdowns or 1 touchdown, whatever it is, let me know what your Deshaun Watson stat predictions are in the comments. If I had to give one, I'm not expecting huge numbers still. I think there is still more football to be played until he really becomes the Deshaun Watson we have all seen for the last couple of years. But I'll go down for 22 for 32, 250 yards and 1 touchdown. I think that's roughly in the ballpark of what we can expect. Might be another interception as he's still getting ready to getting reacclimated to reading defenses. But I think that's probably going to be in the neighborhood of what to expect from number 4. Another quick note I wanted to share from Thursday's practice with you all here. Mary Kay tweeting out that Joe Woods said Deion Jones and Jordan Kunaszyk will play at Mike Backer with Taki out for the season. So Deion Jones kind of sliding over, Tony Fields stepping up, and that's what we can expect moving forward, taking over the middle of that linebacker core here. Other injury news, of course, Anthony Schwartz placed on IR yesterday. Cleveland picked up another special team kick return, punt return guy from the Bucs. And to me, the Browns putting Schwartz on IR was sort of just like cutting him, but in a nicer way. Because he's on IR with a concussion. I don't believe it's actually a season-ending concussion level of severity. May very well be the case, but I think it's more of, hey, Schwartz, we've seen enough. We're just going to shut you down for the rest of the year, put you on IR, and we're just going to give you the opportunity to kind of figure it out this offseason, and hopefully you blow us away in training camp. If not, you're going to be an Adam Schefter tweet in August of the Cleveland Browns have cut former third-round pick Anthony Schwartz. Also, I saw this comment in one of our videos, and I wanted to share it with you all here. Time to let Hunt fill Schwartz's spot in the game plan. We are not using Hunt enough, and I think Hunt would gladly take on more for his plate. Yep, I can completely agree, True Brown, of it's not like Anthony Schwartz is getting a high usage rate anyway, but I would love to see more touches for Kareem Hunt. We only didn't get as much RPOs as I thought we might in that game against the Texans. I also believe Kevin Stefanski in the second half kind of viewed it as a preseason game. No reason to show his new playbook for Deshaun Watson. The game was in hand. Let's run it with Chubb, Hunt, and Jerome Ford a couple times, and let's just get out of here with the W. I kind of think that was Stefanski's approach to the second half. So I hope we do see more of Kareem Hunt with Watson at quarterback. Before we let you guys go, if you have not followed me on Twitter, please consider doing so at Matthew Petey. Tweet about the Brownies, tweet about the NFL, all that good stuff. So hit me up over on the Bird app if you have not already.